So it's about time. Welcome to our LuraTech webinar about the new features of PDF Compressor 5.7. While Armin is still sorting things out there, we see the first slide now. I may introduce myself. My name is Carsten Heiermann. I'm the Managing Director here at LuraTech, and with me, I already announced him, is Armin Ortmann today. Armin, would you mind introducing yourself quickly?
Yes. Hello from Berlin. My name is Armin Ortmann, and I am the CTO of LuraTech.
Yeah, Armin is here with me today. We split the different parts of the presentation between us today, and he will probably cover more the live demonstration part later on. Okay, before we actually start, there are some more technical hints. Some may say, as usual, this webinar will last for 45 minutes. We'll do our best to stay in time so that you are having no conflicts with your following meetings. In case you have any questions during the presentations, please ask them immediately. You can use the questions field in your GoToWebinar software, probably on the right-hand side of your screen. In that user interface there, you can type in your questions anytime. And we'll try to answer those questions either immediately in writing or even verbally after the presentation, if they seem to be of public interest and the timing allows it, of course. We have planned to use the last 5 minutes at least for that questions, where we pick them up and answer them between Armin and me so that you can all hear those answers and those questions. In any case, if we miss some or miss some time or something, we will answer all the questions that you might have in writing after the webinar for sure and at least. At the end of this presentation, when you leave the webinar, a questionnaire will pop up. We'd be very glad if you could be so kind to answer those 4 questions today that help us really to further improve our webinars. With this questionnaire, you also have the opportunity to ask some further questions, again in writing if you like, or if you missed something to ask before. And also these questions we are going to answer later on then. Of course, in any case, you can talk to your LuraTech contact after the webinar or your respective LuraTech partner or us, the presenters today, about the product, the technology, or how you get a demo or a demo version of all you see today. We have a large number of listeners here today. Really happy about that. But as we have almost equally spread long years users on the one hand, and also people who have not yet any experience or are not yet users here, I think we have good information for all of you, but we would appreciate your understanding that on the one hand we are not able today to go through all the basics again for every new feature of the PDF Compressor 5.7, because that would be several webinars then in one. And on the other hand, we also appreciate your understanding that we at least have to repeat some of the basics of PDF Compressor as a short introduction on the first some slides for the not yet users amongst us today. So just let's start the LuraTech webinar about the PDF Compressor, the new features of PDF Compressor 5.7. Armin, would you mind to open the first slide, which shows us a little bit of an agenda? That's what we plan to do. We introduce the company again quickly for those who are new to this here, and then we go through the basics, as I already said, of PDF Compressor real quick in the beginning. That is a total of 3 or 4 slides. And then we show what's new in the version 5.7 of PDF Compressor. Show means Armin will start that with a live demonstration that is then just followed by another slide summarizing and wrapping up what's all new in 5.7. Plus, we will give an outlook on what's coming next with PDF Compressor 6.0 and also what's coming next with PDF 8.2. Hopefully, if we are quick enough, we have then our time in the end to answer all your questions and pick them up there. Okay, let's start right away. Most of you might know that LuraTech is a company that provides mostly document conversion solutions, where we have a strong focus on automated conversion and server-side conversion. And exactly PDF Compressor Enterprise version, that's what we talk about today, is this production level application to do that kind of compression, conversion to PDF, and of course PDFA to apply OCR, do classification and form data extraction. We'll see a lot of that in detail later on. We're a company founded in 1995 in Berlin, in the meantime with offices in the Greater London area, and since many years in the United States, in California, and also in West Germany. We have another office. Since 2004, the company is in the hand of the managers here, so all of us who own the company also work here, which is a great opportunity and a great environment to come up with creative products and good ideas. Okay, let's go more from the general information of LuraTech into the detailed information about what the PDF Compressor Enterprise version is. By the way, PDF Compressor Enterprise is the version we're talking about today in comparison to the PDF Compressor Desktop. The desktop tool is just file open, file save as mode for occasional use. The Enterprise version here on the other side is the, let's say, server-oriented solution that is designed to unattended process many documents. It's a very scalable solution. Some of our customers use it for just some pages in batch mode. Some of our customers use it for tens or hundreds of millions of pages in months or years, with many CPU cores used, and probably even many installations of PDF Compressor running all together on one job. The PDF Compressor Enterprise version is able to run many jobs in parallel. That for the scan service provider amongst you here might mean that there are several different customer jobs running anytime, and you can all set them up by a given input and output folder directory that can be watched folders, hot folders, monitored folders, whatever. And between every input and output folder you can set up all the parameters, there's plenty of, as we will see in the live demo, individually, so that you can create real customer-oriented or process-oriented jobs and run them all in parallel. Yeah, it is very scalable in terms of what kind of hardware you want to use, 1 core, 2 core, 5 core, 4 core, 8 core, whatever. And it is also opened up to be a much more broader solution in the meantime. We do not longer only read JPEGs, TIFFs, PDFs, or other source formats that came out of the scanned documents area. In the meantime, we are also able to read Microsoft Office files and whatnot, the so-called born digital files, and convert them all together in ISO standard compliant output formats that might be the normal, let's say, PDF, all the way up to the new ISO 32000 PDF version, PDF 1.4, 1.5, 1.6 included, of course, or even the PDF-A format, the PDF ISO derivative for long-term archiving purposes. Okay, next slide, please. Those of you who know the software might immediately recognize kind of this slide here, because that's exactly what you can select on the first page of the properties dialog when you set up a job. It is about the general, let's say, work areas that you can use the PDF compressor for. First and foremost, of course, the MRC compression mode of PDF compressor. This mode allows what I exactly said before: convert, compress, high compress scanned documents into PDF and PDF-A. And there's options like apply OCR results for full text searchability, apply barcode recognition for document splitting, separation, for document renaming purposes and whatnot. And if you have licensed this option, in addition, this is also a place where you can apply classification and data extraction on the given documents here that run through PDF Compressor. We name it forms recognition, that module. Another mode of PDF Compressor is the PDF optimization mode that also has OCR options. What this is, we have an extra slide for it in a second. The third mode you can select is the born digital conversion. I quickly introduced it. This also needs an extra license, and we also have an extra slide for that. And the last mode that I will not go into in detail is the digital signatures mode. PDF Compressor Enterprise version is also capable of applying following international standards digital signatures to be embedded in PDF and PDF-A files, or to be created as extra digital signature files or signature containers, however. Let's go through the first three modes real quick to get a basic understanding of what PDF Compressor does. Yeah, this is the first thing, MRC compression. I'm not going to explain what MRC compression is really, just naming it mixed raster content compression, the high compression option we have. For those who are interested in any kind of this basic information about PDF Compressor, we did webinars on many topics already that we just named today and not go in detail. If you have interest in any specific topic here, is it forms recognition or whatever, just contact us after the webinar and we can give you download links to the recorded older webinars that have this information in all the details. Okay, just to make it quick here, MRC compression mode is, as I said, for scanned documents to highly compress them and convert them in PDF or PDFA. We're often asked, okay, what does it mean, real small or real high compressed? And it's always difficult to say. Also, these absolute numbers in here are a little bit difficult to use because the compression ratio really depends on what the document looks like. As a rule of thumb, you could say that we are able to create full color files approximately in the same size as you would expect from a TIFF Group 4 file from a given document, which is outstanding. And we are able to create black and white pages that are up to only half the size of a TIFF Group 4 document of the same document or scan of the same document. So as a rule of thumb, you might keep that in mind when we talk about what our MRC compression can achieve. And you can, of course, use it with color scans, grayscale scans, and also black and white documents. It has different modes, including lossless modes, but also lossy modes, let's say, where you go for visual lossless operation or documents. The OCR that we have in here is a full-featured OCR engine. We can also name it. It's the Abbey OCR engine that is built in here. It's not optional. It's included in the license. No extra charge for that. And the text we can generate through this OCR can be embedded into the PDF files and PDFA files for full text searchability in Acrobat Reader or whatever it is, but it also can be stored as extra files in addition or whatever you want. Extra files could be XML files or Word files or something that you can import to your full text database or search engine or whatever. As it is pretty new, we also want to mention that we have now the options of embedding also non-Latin characters, let's say. We also have the option, have a version of PDF Compressor Enterprise now that is capable of Chinese, Japanese, and Korean OCR and is able to also embed that into the PDF and PDFA output files. So if you have any non-Latin text, you might contact us for some news around that. As mentioned, barcode recognition is an option here in this MRC compression, and we use it for document separation, for splitting the documents into multi-page, splitting all the pages that continuously come from a scanner into given multi-page documents and so on by using either barcode printed on or patched on a specific document or individual patch code pages between the documents. Okay, next slide, please. Let's talk quickly about the other option that we have that you can activate in the section of MRC compression in the PDF compressor, that is forms recognition. Forms recognition is probably an own group of products at LuraTech. You can have that in the PDF compressor, and you can have that also in our new Dockyard product that you might have heard of or might be interested in listening to a recorded webinar about. It allows you to really classify your incoming documents that run through the PDF compressor. Classify either on with a template-based engine, that is where you have given layouts of given forms that are filled in, and you can detect that by the layout of the form, or you can detect classified documents with a rules-based free-form engine. Both of that is, or the whole product group is LuraTech own development. It's nothing licensed or reseller thing here. It's our own technology. And it is not only capable of classifying documents, but it's also capable of extracting dedicated data out of that scan formats while they run through PDF compressor anyway, let's say. This group of product uses the PDF compressor and it's way to easily, let's say, batch process or whatever the documents. It used it. It is an engine that runs based on these methods that are well accepted, but it also comes in a package together with a forms designer, which is our tool to edit and store the rules for different forms or documents or classes, let's say, document classes. And it also comes with form validator clients that can be one or many. And these form validator clients, as you might see by the small persons printed there, the form validator clients are designed to validate, correct the recognized or extracted data out of the forms. They are also capable of, these form validator client is also capable of manually typing some part of the forms, and it's also capable of reclassifying documents, which is something new that Armin might talk about in a minute also. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, another mode that is in our PDF compressor, which is very, very good for certain tasks, is the PDF optimization mode. It allows to compress documents that are not only scans, let's say. So it allows to compress even born digital PDF files if they contain, if their content has also images included. If, for example, they append scans, like you have a contract written in Word converted to a PDF file, and the last pages with the signatures is again scanned and inserted there. And we can then apply the MRC compression only on images or pages that are scanned or whatever, without using the character encoded typeset text that is in the PDF in all other sections. So you keep the text and only compress images inside those PDF files. And you can also use this optimization mode to convert given PDFs to PDF-A in that step. So it's an interesting mode that not everybody really knows so far. So you might want to take a look at that too. Okay. One more slide about the basics, and then we go in the 5.7 things, and especially the live demonstrations. Another mode that we have in there, which is another option for PDF Compressor that you can license separately, is the so-called born digital option, or the born digital conversion. This allows now the PDF Compressor to also read input formats that are not out of the scan world, but that are character encoded typeset formats like Microsoft Office files, emails, OpenOffice files, also born digital PDFs, HTML, websites, text files, and all this kind of more born digital formats. And the goal of this born digital option is to convert those input files into PDF or PDF-A files. Here is a hint for all of you who might want to give this a try or might want to use it. The system requirements that this option has are higher than the system requirements that the basic PDF compressor has. We require Windows Server operating systems for this born digital option here, and the fact that we need it for, and the idea why I'm mentioning this here is that the born digital conversion of any kind of format that is listed here into PDF or PDF-A requires in many cases that the original, let's say, application is installed on that server and is used to open that files in an automated way, obviously. So we have to have Word on this server here in order to be able to convert Word files into PDF-A files, let's say. The reason is sometimes technically, sometimes it is a licensing reason and everything else, but of course this bears a risk. You don't want to have client applications normally on a server environment, but what we do is we really manage those applications, and in order to manage it, control that, be able to kill a process very controlled from the automation part of our PDF compressor. The the way we do it is we make use of some of the Windows Server options called terminal servers and whatnot that allow us to really open up a fresh Word for every conversion or something like that, and make it as stable running as you're used to that the PDF compressor runs so stable. Okay, that's enough for the basic information, I'd say, and I hope I didn't forget too much, Armin.
No, I don't think so. And some other stuff I'll certainly mention during the live presentation. Let me minimize the presentation for a second and then erase these leftover files here. Okay, I'll basically start to show the MRC compression mode, which is still, I think, one of the core functions of PDF Compressor. So I do have a few scanned documents here, which more or less look like this. What do we have here? This is from the PDFA Competence Center. I think we have one thing. That's our product flyer for, that's the PDFA flyer. That's some mock-up. I think you'll get what we're aiming at. These documents are mostly color scans, and therefore you see in uncompressed shape they require 25 megabytes at 300 dpi for full color. That's a number to bear in mind. That's really the uncompressed space requirement for one A4 page at 300 dpi, full color to note. If you have merely black and white, this goes down, or if you have merely grayscale, this goes down to 8 megabyte, and of course certainly you can LZW compress something. So even if you have a color document here, which does not really contain a lot of color, then you may start with a handful of megabytes. But basically, as long as you're talking about TIFF, you're still in the range of megabytes per page. That's important to keep in mind. To start the compression in PDF Compressor, this is the GUI in PDF Compressor, and you see two job list entries that I already created. Basically, to start or to create a new compression job, you can just simply drag something here, and then you have a new job. I'll start with my prepared ones because I have a tendency to miss something during a webinar and then look at interesting error messages. I wanted to avoid that today, so I have prepared a few things here. But this is, as you can see, the same input folder. So we will be compressing all the TIFF files in that directory. So I'll uncheck everything else here, just TIFF files. We will place the output right next to the TIFF files. You saw me clicking here quickly. We'll use the MRC compression mode. We'll actually apply some OCR. I'll say a few things to that in a minute. And you also see the additional modes that Carsten talked about right on this page. So you have PDF optimization with additional options. You have the PDFA conversion. We'll talk about that in a few minutes a bit more. And you have the digital signatures. But that's basically all I need to get going with these examples. So I can simply click Start here, or I could click the Start button here in the main toolbar, and you immediately see this demonstration machine is a dual-core machine, and you see which file it is processing and that it is using 2 processor cores simultaneously. Concerning the OCR, we are occasionally asked, well, doesn't that add a lot of overhead? Doesn't that in some way erase the benefits of the compression? And the answer is no. You already see here that the file size is considerably smaller. We're no longer talking about megabytes per page, but rather a few dozen kilobytes per page. And the embedded OCR information is about 5 to 6 kilobyte for a regular page. So the fact that I can now here select text, or that I can look for a phrase, such as level here and then find it in the recognized text, it costs you about 5 kilobytes per page. That's the rule of thumb. And you already see, Carsten noted in the earlier webinar today that the additional compression by the webinar software may make it look like the image quality really deteriorated. I hope you can see this okay.
Yeah.
I think the image quality,
again.
It's the case again. So yeah, we will have to put up with that. We have the general recommendation anyway that you send us a few samples of your own documents, and we will process them for you as a test and tell you what the optimum compression results would look like. But for now, you must simply believe us that these are still legible, and that the compression can do greatly with the color information just as well as the text information. A few other options beside OCR. You see that the OCR has sub-options such as a list of languages. These are the standard languages that we ship. We do have up to 180 languages, which would make this box really full. But if you require a certain set of additional languages, say Eastern European languages or Hispanic, Spanish versions or other things, just let us know and we'll wrap up a package of these language options and send them to you at no additional charge. And you see also that there are several additional output formats available, so you're not only able to insert hidden text into the generated PDFs, but you can also export plain text, say, or XML results of the OCR. A few other noteworthy options is this thing here. We also call it the hot folder options. This is a watched folder, and you can even configure the interval at which this is watched, and new files are automatically converted with the associated jobs then. So you can basically automate a folder where, for example, a scanner will occasionally drop off the files that your users scan. Right below you have the merge option, so there are several options for merging documents pertaining to certain rules. There are also options for splitting documents. So for example, the barcode recognition can split a document whenever a certain barcode is encountered, and it can remove those barcode pages. Or you can just simply split everything into single page or 2-page or 3-page document, however you require it. Okay, concerning the new things in PDF Compressor 5.7, the one or other of you may already have noticed that we slightly restructured this page here in order to be able to put more and more detailed format information in this part. Doesn't look so different for the MRC compression, but when we switch to the Born Digital conversion and then go back here, it becomes immediately apparent. So we do now have very detailed list and quite a list already of different formats that we can convert with the Born Digital options, and among the new things are Microsoft Visio and Microsoft Project files, but also several sorts of open office documents as well as plain text files. And you now have more detailed options to check what a certain job should convert. Also among the new options with 5.7 is, and I'll have to switch back to MRC compression to get there, with the form recognition. You have this dialog for form recognition options, and on the in the lower part of this dialog, a few new options are here. Some of them were also present in version 5.6, but this full range is only in 5.7, and I think we haven't talked about them so far anyway. So you can now use form recognition and not create any PDF output. If that's insignificant for your process, you don't have the overhead of creating a PDF. You can, and that has been in demand for quite a while, you can now embed the OCR results as hidden text with the PDFs generated by form recognition in the same way that it would be with regular OCR, because you see OCR and form recognition are different options here, so they are somewhat mutually exclusive. You can also include the OCR results in XML form with the form recognition results. So you can have larger XML files which contain the full text results. The no form boundary detection is good for respecting, so to speak, the partitioning of the document. So if you have multi-page PDF or TIFF input files and you say, we don't want to reformat the documents. Whenever something has 3, 4, 5 pages, that should remain a document throughout the forms recognition. This is what this option does, as opposed to the standard mode, where the form recognition would try to automatically detect where a document begins and where a document ends. So you have these two different options now. And then you have this distinction between classification and data extraction. In the regular mode, you do both the classification, i.e. detection what kind of form it actually is, and the extraction, that is the extracting of certain document field contents into the form recognition results, such as a name or an address or a date or an amount. Normally you do all of that in one pass, so you have to just pass documents once through PDF Compressor. But in many scenarios it has shown to be useful that you can have a first pass where you only classify the documents, i.e. only try to figure out what kind of document something is. That would be this form classification only thing. And on the other hand, once you have found out what a document is, you can then pass them through the second run where you would say no form classification because you have already determined what it is. And one of the major uses for these features is that in between the two passes you have a chance to manually inspect and correct the results. So you can now go back to correct the form classification results in our form validator application before you then go ahead and really extract the data. So you have an additional level of ensuring the correctness of the results of the form recognition. Okay, that's a bit about the improvements in 5.7. One more thing is, and I'll go to this second job here, it's a bit varied in the advanced option for output, and that's this export by tonal segmentation mask. That sounds kind of complicated, but it isn't really, and I'll just start the job right away so that we can get a few results. The results should appear here in a second. And what this mode does, it exports one layer from the multi-layer MRC compression as a black and white TIFF document. And this is the layer that actually really contains all the text input that our algorithm detected. So when you're starting with this document, you have a huge image here, and you have a smaller logo there, and you have a really small logo here, and lots of text in between. And this additional text layer result for that document would look like this. So you have the two larger images erased. The very small image remains in this case, but what you now really have is mostly the text content, and that text content stands out even more sharply than in the original document. And that, of course, is very helpful if you have a different OCR engine, for example, that you would want to export these files or to pass these files to. We can go through a few more examples at this point. This is
sigh of relief between our users here. A long years requested feature that we now realized, or that we now just put in our product, especially for those who fit their documents after this color scan and after a PDF compressor, PDFA conversion, maybe also into another classification or whatever engine that is only running on black and white documents. You know, the noise is erased. The OCR is not disturbed by any images from the background. And we have customers who found out in a really empiric study that their correction efforts that they need to spend on their verification desks after, let's say, a form data extraction goes down by 15% when you use this black and white layer in comparison to using a just bitonal image that comes out of a dual stream scan or something like that. So it really makes the OCR work a lot more efficient. And now, finally, we can output it from the PDF compressor.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you see it in this example. This is a pretty good example. You also see it's not a 100% perfect solution. So here, for example, it missed a bit of that stamp, but this color part up here has been erased reliably, as has this lightly colored background down here. So you really have a very crisp black and white document that you can use for the purposes Carsten mentioned. Yeah, and that's about it of my software demonstration for today. Once again, we have several webinars which we also recorded and which explain several aspects of MRC compression, of why to use PDFA, of forms recognition, of born digital conversion in quite a bit of more detail. We will certainly follow up with further webinars, but for now we'll conclude here.
Yeah.
I didn't take any look at the questions, but so far we have two. And
I answered some.
all right.
Okay.
Okay. This slide basically just sums up what we just saw, so that people looking at the slide version only can remember it. But those are the options that I just demonstrated, and I think, Carsten, it's your turn with the next slide.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we also had already one question around the license model of PDF Compressor Enterprise. The question was around the built-in ABI OCR engine that we have, and you all might know that there is a limitation on ABI that allows only or charges for pages per month or something like that, and how it is when we build it in PDF Compressor. So the PDF Compressor Enterprise in total, including the OCR engine, comes in this three bold printed license models, let's say. The first and mostly and widely used license model is the so-called server license model. This gives you unlimited processing, is only scaled by CPU cores, and has no page counter or no page limit at all. So the question is answered. No, we don't have this strict pages per month limit or something like that if you use the server model, which gives you, obviously, when you have a constant load, constant medium to high load, gives you obviously the best price then also for your conversion, let's say. There are some projects, on the other hand, that are just smaller, let's say. So you are going to process your incoming invoice, your incoming invoices or something like that, and that might not be more than 250,000 a year or something like that. And that can be done with a PDF Compressor Enterprise again in the advanced license model. The advanced license model gives you exactly these limited pages per time option, 50 to 500,000 pages a year, recurring every year again, but of course at a better price at the unlimited version that we also offer, if you just have these smaller needs. The third option makes it complete then from my perspective, and that's the basic license model. The basic license model gives you an absolute number of pages license. So in other words, when you're, let's say, a scan service provider or also working in a company, you have your normal daily workload that you're doing there, no matter if it's like 100,000 documents a month or 100 million documents a month, doesn't matter. And that would probably be covered, as it is always the same, with server or PDF Compressor server installations or multi-core installations of PDF Compressor server. But then there is this peak load, this one additional order that you get in your scan service business where you need many, many CPU cores, a lot of computational power, but just for a certain given time, or definitely for a certain given number of pages. And that might also be a backlog situation where you go to this seller that is very often mentioned and have to scan those files. And after that it's done, but it has to be done in 4 weeks. And you can do that with the PDF Compressor basic license model. Summary, with these three options, I think every project's requirements can be perfectly covered. And these three license models, as I mentioned them, are applicable for all components and parts of the PDF Compressor Enterprise. Is it the PDF Compressor Enterprise itself? Is it the forms recognition option? Is it the Born Digital option or the digital signature option? And you can even combine that and use a server option for your scan files and a basic thing for your just some Born Digital files that you might have or so. Whatever. It's combinable, and I think we can adjust every project's needs real flexible without having these strict limits in there. Yeah. We have one more slide, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll cover that.
Give us an outlook on what's coming next, and why don't you do it, Armin?
Yeah, there have been a few questions already concerning future developments, such as integrating LV version 10. That is on our list, definitely. But the very next things we are up to do is, on the one hand, in the beginning of December, we will have a beta version of PDF Compressor 6.0. So there is a beta phase starting December 15th, and we're still registering applicants to help us beta test this. We may even have to select among the applicants, but right now this application phase is still open. And Carsten, I think the registration formula, if you're interested in this, will be sent out with the next e-news, right?
Yes, right. The next e-news has a small paragraph about the small article about the beta phase and what the PDF Compressor 6.0 does, and also comes with the link to the registration form on our website where you can sign up as a candidate or an applicant or being interested in the beta phase or as a beta partner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And to really quickly sum up the improvements, we will change a few things in the basic architecture of PDF Compressor. We will not really change the compression or conversion, but we will put a real SQL or ODBC database in the background that will log all kinds of things that now merely go in a log file. That will also help us to pause jobs and to recover the options used with older jobs. So whereas now it's rather easy to permanently delete some job settings, it will then be rather easy to recover everything without it totally cluttering your PDF Compressor GUI or without it getting in the way. It will just be recorded in the background, and that will also be useful for more reporting and monitoring options. And we will also implement the parallel job execution on several computers, whereas now when you start the user interface of PDF Compressor here, whatever you see only pertains to the machine that you're logged on. That will change in the future. You can then see and edit the properties of jobs running on several networked machines. The other big thing that is coming up, or the other new feature that we're working on, is PDF A2. Carsten and several of our colleagues have just returned from the PDFA conference in Rome that was centered around this topic. So we are expecting this new version of the standard is not a completely new standard, but is merely an extension of the existing PDFA1 standard, and it will hopefully be released in the first quarter of 2011. And we have already updated PDF Compressor to comply with everything that can certainly be expected to be part of the standard. So we are ready to release basically on the same day as the standard is passed a new version of PDF Compressor that will then effectively deal with PDFA2.
Yeah. Maybe for the, as a quick note, and the users between you might really immediately understand the impacts, PDFA2 will give you the option to JPEG 2000 compress the color layer of our MRC compression, and it will allow you to access those layers in Acrobat Reader again and switch them on and off, and maybe only look at the black and white layer there for low contrast documents and their better readability. The users between you might still remember that this was possible and still is possible with the regular PDF, but it was not possible with PDF A1. Good news coming, it will be possible again with PDF A2.
Yeah, and I kind of have a hunch that we will have a PDF A2 webinar when the time comes.
Yeah, I have that in mind for quite a while already. We'll do that, promised.
Okay, last slide. Do you want to do it? I can do it as well. Basically,
Yeah, go ahead.
the one important thing really is there is a demo version of PDF Compressor. You can directly download. Just request a download link. We'll send you your personal download link. And what you get then is a demo version where all the features are available. Of course, there are a few restrictions. We will embed a demo logo in things you create, but it is not the case that any feature is cut out of the demo version, so that you would have to spend more effort just to test it and try it out on your system. So basically, two things are recommended. Either, if possible, send us a few documents and let us determine the best options for you to compress or convert them. Of course, we will treat the documents confidentially. Still, we know that it may not be possible to pass any material outside your organization, and we totally respect that. And in that case, the second option would be to download PDF Compressor and really try it in your own environment and see what it can do for you. Okay, Carsten, I think that's it, and we might just proceed with the questions that we have.
Mm-hmm. Probably there are not too much questions at this point, and we are also over time, so we could also use the option and do everything else in writing. What do you think?
May also be. There is this one question whether we are planning to support Arabic with the OCR, and as you already mentioned, this is tied to our update to ABI 10, which will probably not happen in the remainder of this year, but probably in early 2011, right? And then Arabic, concerning Arabic script, would certainly be an option, which would require a specific license for the ABI engine and therefore incur certain extra cost. So that's it at that point, basically.
Yeah, but it's absolutely possible. Also, when you have other requests that exceed the 190, almost on the 190 available languages, just give us a call or send us an email, because there's many more possible, and we can give you extra licenses, or at least propose extra licenses to you to also meet your requirements in that area.
Yeah. There is just one more question popping up, and we'll just answer it while we're at it. Yes, we will make the PowerPoint presentation available afterwards. We'll send it to you.
Yes, of course, and also the webinar is, again, as all our webinars, recorded. In case you want to view this recording of this webinar or any other older recorded webinars on all the topics as mentioned before, just send us a short email and we'll provide you with the links to the webinars recorded.
Okay, so once again, please fill out the questionnaire that will come up after the webinar has ended, and thanks for your attention, and hopefully we'll meet again in one webinar or the other. Yeah,
probably that's it for today. Thank you very much. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit means thanks for your attention. And talk to you all soon, hopefully. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.